In Southern California, a mother known as Jane Doe faces a wrenching choice: her son's education or her Christian faith. Her son, once an honor roll student, has been barred from public school for not receiving state-mandated vaccinations, a decision rooted in their religious beliefs. The school district's action has upended their lives, turning daily routines into a legal battle over fundamental freedoms. Jane Doe argues the state is forcing her to violate her conscience just to access public education. With help from We the Patriots USA, she's petitioned the U.S. Supreme Court for an emergency injunction to let her son return to class. At stake, she says, is not just her son's future, but the rights of all parents to raise their children according to their faith. The case has become a flashpoint in the national debate over parental rights, religious freedom, and public health. For Jane Doe, faith and education should not be mutually exclusive, even in an era of strict health mandates. Jane Doe's refusal to vaccinate her son is rooted in her Christian belief that the body is a temple and must remain pure. She objects to vaccines developed or tested with fetal cell lines, seeing any connection to abortion as morally unacceptable. For her, allowing vaccination would make her complicit in what her faith condemns. Before the law changed, her son attended school under a personal beliefs exemption, and the district accommodated her stance. The removal of this exemption turned a manageable conviction into a legal crisis. Jane Doe believes parents have the God-given right to make healthcare decisions for their children. Forcing vaccination, she argues, strips families of their religious autonomy. California's Senate Bill 277 eliminated personal belief exemptions for school vaccinations in 2015, leaving only medical exemptions. Now children must be fully vaccinated to attend school, with no allowance for religious objections. Jane Doe's legal team argues this law is unconstitutional, as it favors secular medical reasons over religious ones. The school district, bound by state law, barred her son from attending. The law's rigidity leaves no room for compromise, forcing families like Jane Doe's into direct conflict with the state. Her attorneys claim the law violates the First Amendment's free exercise clause by discriminating against religious beliefs. The case asks, can public health mandates override fundamental religious freedoms? Jane Doe's fight is about more than vaccines. It's about the right to practice faith without government interference. The fallout for Jane Doe's son has been severe. Once thriving, he's now isolated from friends and struggling academically after being barred from school. The family's ordeal intensified when Jane Doe was cited for truancy, despite her son being excluded by the school. Though the charge was dropped, the experience left the family feeling like outcasts. The emotional toll is immense: a child's education and social life disrupted, a family under stress. Jane Doe's appeal to the Supreme Court highlights this real-world harm, not just legal theory. Their story is a plea for recognition of the human cost behind state policies. At its core, it's about a child who wants to learn and a mother who wants to honor her faith. Jane Doe's emergency application to the Supreme Court could set a national precedent. Justice Elena Kagan will decide whether to grant an injunction or refer the case to the full court. The outcome could reshape the balance between public health mandates and religious freedom across the country. Jane Doe's lawyers argue that religious and medical exemptions pose similar risks and should be treated equally. If the court sides with her, states may have to reintroduce religious exemptions. If not, strict mandates could spread. For families like Jane Doe's, the stakes are high: homeschool, move, or compromise their beliefs. This case crystallizes a core American conflict: faith versus state authority. The Supreme Court's decision will shape the future of religious liberty and public education for years to come.